Control or no control? Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. This is Beth Wee in the Koinonia Kitchen, and we're going to talk about the things that we try to control, the things we do control, and the things we have no control over. That word control, oh boy, we want it. I want power. I want to be in charge. I want to manage everything if I can. But I learned I have no control over certain things. There used to be a woman I knew, her name was Tammy, and she used to say, I'm powerless over people, places, and things. And I hated to hear her say that. I didn't want to look at that. What do you mean you're powerless over other people? You're powerless over places. You're powerless over things. What does that mean anyway? And then I started to look at my world. There were things in my world that I didn't like, but I had no control over. I have someone very close to me that I love dearly who has severe autism. And I can't get the full communication I'm trying for with that person, at least not yet. And I have no control over that. And I got to tell you, I don't like it. I want control. I want to be able to communicate with this person. I want them to understand what I'm saying, and I want to understand what they say, if only they could say it. You know, the other thing that happened is I realized it's not just the people. I'm places in my life, and I don't mean like Vero Beach or Chicago. I'm talking about the place I am in my life. I'm getting older. There's things that are changing in my body. There's things that are changing in how quickly I think. There's things that are changing in how quickly I move. And I don't care for that. I want control. I want to be able to be a 30-year-old me, jumping up on a ladder to fix something or getting down on the floor to scrub a spot. And not have to worry about getting up after it or feeling bad the next day because I did it. But I have no control over aging. I have no control over the aging process. I can do my best to take care of my body and to keep moving and to eat well and to handle the medical issues that I have to handle. But the reality is aging is going to happen. And as you get toward the last third of your life, it happens a little bit more quickly. But what can I control? It sounds like I have no control over anything. And that's not really true. I have control over my part. What does that mean? When I ask somebody, what's your part? I'm asking them, what did you do to contribute to the situation? How did you respond? How did you speak to somebody? What did you think? Were you hopeless or hopeful? Those are choices, and I have those choices. I am so grateful that I have a toolbox full of emotional tools that help me make better decisions and live a better life. I didn't have that toolbox full all my life. I had to learn. I had to go, who is it, Toby Mac, that says he graduated from the School of Hard Knocks, but he still has some lessons to learn. I love that line in the song because that's where I'm at. Most of my tools came from that School of Hard Knocks. And I still sometimes look for a tool and don't have it. Thank goodness for my network, my friends, my family, my coworkers, the people that lend me their tools when I need them or tell me how to use a tool that's new to me. So my part, I do have control over that. I remember seeing a t-shirt that said, is the glass half empty or half full? And then on the back of the t-shirt it said, neither. The glass is refillable. And I loved it. I was like, wow, talk about how to deal with your perspective when it's off. It's not that your glass is half full. It's that you need to fill it up. I love that line in the Psalms where it says, my cup overfloweth. I don't know what that means exactly, but I want an overflowing cup, enough to pour out and share with other people. And I have some control over that. I can change my attitude or choose my frame of mind. And when it's off, I can seek help, maybe get some exercise, maybe talk to somebody, but I can choose to get help, say a prayer. All these things can change it. One thing, music. Put on some music that makes me feel good. It's funny, I have a friend named Kay, and she talks about a real depressed point in her life. And she said she stayed in and listened to Desperado over and over and over. She was choosing that Desperado frame of mind. I can turn on the happy dance, I feel happy, and I can pop around with it, and I can feel better. That's in my control. You know what else is in my control? I can pray for God's will to come to pass. I don't know what it is, and I'm not always sure I want it, but I know this, it's going to be better than my will. I know that God is crazy about me, and I know that God is good. So His will is going to be good. It doesn't always look like what I think good looks like at first. But what comes out of God's will coming to pass always turns into like huge, abundant, wonderful things. The last thing I'm going to say about choosing, I can choose activity over sloth. It's really easy to do nothing. It's really hard sometimes when you don't feel right to make yourself do something. But I'll tell you what, if I get up and just walk to the corner and back, I feel better. I can choose activity. I can pick up that phone and call somebody else who has it worse than me. There's a lot of people that don't have the many blessings that I have. Or if they have them, they haven't recognized them yet. They don't know their blessings. So what's the deal? No control or control? It's kind of like business. I have a friend who says she has 2 businesses, her business and Nunya business. And it's kind of what it is for me. Sometimes things are just not my business. I don't have control, and to exert any authority that I make up in my head is just going to make the situation worse. I can use the control that I have by saying a prayer, by looking at my part, knowing where I stand in that street and staying on my side of the street, and maybe doing something active instead of waiting to see what happens. I'm getting older. Can't change that, but I'll tell you what, I can change my approach to aging. I can go take a class in a chair, doing yoga in a chair. I can walk every morning before I start my day. I can enjoy other people and ask and listen to people as they share where they're at and what's going on in their life. I have the wisdom to know the difference between what I can accept and what I need to change. If only I'm quiet enough and I know what is my part. What do I have control over? Well, you just heard. I have a lot of control. And I have a lot of not control. So the reality is, as long as I believe there's a loving God balancing everything out, I'm going to be just fine. It's time to take addiction out of the shadows and shine the encouraging light of recovery on everyone affected. Good Seed Podcast is powered by BethWE.com, a nonprofit ministry based in Vero Beach, Florida. We'll start the uncomfortable conversations that turn despair into hope and complacency into action. Connect, communicate, and thrive with us. Check us out online at BethWE.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk again soon.